is you want to identify additional channels where you can invest your paid media dollars. And so here you want to look at which channels can play a role at each of those buyer journey stages for you to get them through to the next stage. So things like Google Ads, Capterra, G2, Software Advice, where there are categories, are often in this consideration stage where people are already ready to buy. Whereas Facebook and LinkedIn are more nurturing and cold prospecting channels unless you're using retargeting and you kind of bringing them through into your funnel and moving them to the next stage. And at the same time, channels like Capterra and G2 also play a research tool. If somebody's searching for best membership management software or best sales enablement software, well, they're likely going to come here and read a bunch of reviews and testimonials and then come to multiple competitor sites and maybe set up demos on multiple sites as well. So you want to be active on those channels for that reason. And then the last is people that are in the unaware section that don't really know a solution exists. Maybe they have some level of problem awareness, but even on the problem side, they need more education. And so leveraging platforms like LinkedIn, like Google, like Facebook, like Reddit, to get them into an educated state to understand what the problem is, to start looking for a solution. That's where you want to look at those additional channels. And each of these channels will have a list of campaigns at each of the stages. And so you want to map all of that out and kind of almost create a roadmap. And this is a very simplistic version of looking at this, but if you were to plot your company into one of these three stages, it would kind of give us an idea of what level of maturity you're at. So stage one is our companies that don't even have some of the basic campaigns live or fully optimized or scaled up. So on Google, that would mean branded competitor late funnel. On Capterra or G2, that might mean having listings on all the top 3 relevant categories to what you're selling. On LinkedIn, you might have retargeting and custom audiences. On Facebook and Instagram, you'd have just retargeting. On stage 2, you have, let's say, a bunch of the campaigns on stage 1 launched. Well, here's where you launch mid-funnel campaigns, have adjacent competitors. So if you're like, let's say, a note-taking app, you might start looking at productivity software keywords or other competitors. You may want to list in adjacent categories that are similar to what you do, but not exactly what you do. Like, let's say if you're a sales enablement software, you might want to list for a content management system. And then on LinkedIn, you're doing cold prospecting to the ICPs that you're kind of going after. And on Facebook and Instagram, you're doing some custom audiences. And then stage 3 is once you kind of optimize stage 1 and stage 2 is you're going really top of funnel and trying to find people who are unaware on early funnel campaigns and cold prospecting campaigns. If you look at the most sophisticated SaaS companies, they're often playing at stage 3. But what the mistake that other SaaS companies make is they're not, in terms of maturity, they're not really at stage 3 yet a bunch of their budget is going to stage 3 or stage 2 campaigns. While you want people who are not yet aware, who aren't in market necessarily, and you want to bring them into your funnel, you want to start with people who are in market to get the flywheel turning, to be able to provide proof points for what paid media is actually contributing to the business. And so building out all these campaigns in stage 1 and stage 2 are essential before we get to stage 3 and start talking about the dark funnel and all those kinds of things. Taking this a step deeper, from each single channel and campaign, you want to list out all the potential campaigns that you could run on that platform, on LinkedIn, on Google, Facebook, Bing, Reddit, etc. And you want to list out all the potential campaigns that are there and prioritize them. So for example, a LinkedIn retargeting ad to people that went to your homepage or pricing page is more important than a LinkedIn retargeting ad that is targeting everybody that went to your blog. And they're both retargeting campaigns, but likely retargeting people that have gone to your blog is not highest on your priority list. Like you could do like a catch-all retargeting audience, but for the most part, you don't want to have like dedicated funnels for people that went to set up blog posts on cybersecurity, now offering them a guide on cybersecurity, to now put them in an email sequence to nurture them through to a demo, when you could totally just focus on the people that have just been to your homepage or pricing page or demo page and try to actually get them to the next stage in the sales funnel. So you want to go through a similar exercise for every single channel and identify all those different campaigns and say, what comes first? Like, do we need a YouTube pre-roll ad? Probably not, if we don't have a late funnel campaign set up or we don't have competitor campaigns set up. And so as you kind of prioritize those, it's going to turn out that there's actually about 20 to 30 campaigns that you've never launched that need to be launched first before you get to those earlier funnel campaigns. And then based on the last two slides, what you eventually want to get to is build a budget allocation by channel and by stage of journey. How much budget do we want to allocate to each of these areas? And so it might turn out that your split looks something like this, where let's say you have $80,000 to $85,000 to spend, where Google's getting $20,000 in your budget, LinkedIn is getting another $20K, Capterra and G2 and Software Advice are getting 16, and Facebook and Reddit get 12,000. And this becomes like your budget one or experimentation budget. But as you launch the campaigns, it might turn out that, hey, the Reddit campaigns were a total miss, but the ones on Capterra or G2 Crowd went really well. So maybe we reallocate this budget here. Facebook retargeting is doing decently well, so let's keep that going. But maybe only half of that spend is working. So maybe we allocate the other half to LinkedIn. And then we scale up Google because it's working really well for us. And maybe instead of 20K, we increase that to 30 or 40K. And so you want to start off with this budget allocation, but it's never set in stone. And part of your job is to constantly keep tabs on it to make sure that you're updating it on a month-to-month basis.